Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Minecraft How To. Today we're going to be learning how to build trees. But Amish Wookie, you're asking, why do I have to build trees if I can just bone meal some saplings and they turn into trees on their own? And because that's boring and they don't always look that good, that's why. So obviously when you start building a tree, you can just use the wood block right here. However, there is a big problem when you do this. There will be different textures depending on which way you're facing on the block, and I don't like that. I like them all to be the same direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build it off diamond first. So the first thing you can do is you're going to want to find a shape for the trunk of the tree. Obviously, you're going to want something more closer to a circle and not so much a square or other shape, so it looks more natural. After you figure out the shape for your trunk, you're going to just build it up quite a ways. Obviously, the bigger you have your trunk, the taller you're going to have it. After you built your base up pretty high, you're going to carve out a little bit of it so that it looks more natural and more like a trunk, and this will give it a flow that works a little bit better. The next thing I did is I added a root system to the tree itself. You don't need this for a lot of different types of trees, but I think it looks good on most Minecraft builds. The next step of the tree is going to be making the main branches of the tree. In this case, I went with 4, but I usually suggest doing anywhere between 3 and 6. Once you get more than 6, it gets a little complicated and it's hard to actually build off of them. You want to make these branches about 1.5 to 2 times the length of the trunk of the tree itself. And then one thing you can do that I actually didn't do is you can have these branch out at different heights on the trunk itself. If your main branches look like a bunch of Cthulhu arms, you know you're in the right track. To start off your branches, I would suggest only doing 2 per each main bough at a time and seeing how that looks. If you don't like how it looks, you can obviously change it a little bit. I would also suggest having them at different points, one lower, one higher, as I've done with each of these right here. And then you just kind of keep going from there. Ooh, all right, I've been at this for roughly 20 minutes or so, and I think I've done all the branches that I want. I could add more branching to eliminate this open space right here and this big one right here, but I kind of like the way they look, so I think I'm gonna leave it as it is. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add leaves to the branches of the tree itself. If you wanted to leave it as more like driftwood, you can, but in my case, I'm going to show you what it looks like after. One thing you wanna note about the command I'm gonna use is that I'm going to fill in a bunch of space around me with leaves, only replacing the air, but if I do it with regular oak leaves, those are going to disappear over time because we're not touching any wood at the moment. So I'm going to add in this little syntax right here saying persistent equals true. So that means the leaves will not decay naturally. So I'm just going to go along the tips of the branches and place the leaves there. This is what the tree looks like with the massive leaves placed at each of the tips of the branches. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and fill in some of these spots that are in the middle here and then extend it down the branches a little bit. And after that, I'm going to terraform the leaves to make it look more natural. Now, one thing I would highly suggest if you do this exact technique is flying around in spectator mode, as it's a lot easier to go through everything and fill in all the little spaces and gaps you want to. One thing you can do when you actually trim down your trees is to do it in survival mode, as it goes a lot faster with shears, as you can destroy them really quickly, than you can in creative mode. After spending nearly an hour chiseling away at the entire structure, I think I like the general shape of the leaves. What you can do to wrap up your tree would be converting the diamond in the center to logs, and then I also put a tree house in my tree because I thought it was a cool idea, as well as a few lanterns floating around. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Leave a like if you liked the video and subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future. Otherwise, I will see you soon.